Well, hi everybody. In fact, I'm going to
Hi
pass
everybody.
over to
Hi
Pete.
everybody.
I'm going to pass over to Pete, and Pete can
All right, I
introduce.
got it. I got a touchdown.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, hi everybody. Pete the Moose Dassey here with another segment of what is this now again? Walking
What
while we're
episode is
talking.
this? Oh well.
I thought it was walk until you're talking or something. I don't know.
Well, yes, that
Keep
was.
walking till they're
Yeah,
keep talking till they're walking.
I'm all mixed up on these things, but here I am anyways. The fabulous Pete Dassey from Two Rivers, Wisconsin. On my right, we got the fabulous and the one and only Becca Nash, and down on and down on the bottom, he should be up on the top because he shouldn't be down in the ground. It's the one and only Paul, and he's from Scotland, don't you know?
Okay, didn't you? Okay, didn't you?
Okay.
So, well,
I'm
it's
real bad.
been.
I'm real bad on introduction. So
No, you're
You
doing
did
fine. You're doing
great.
fine.
okay.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the thing is, we did have our keep talking till they're walking. That was what is that 2 weeks ago now, Becca? I think it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been
Yeah, yeah. And it was that was really really good. And I must admit, I was very pleasantly surprised at how certainly in with my own channel, I wasn't like the dude. The dude would check and see how his subscribers are going, how many videos views he had. I mean, at one point when it got to he'd had like 1 million views. It was a big occasion, and I must admit, I'm not into numbers and all that kind of stuff. But even I took notice of the fact that as a result of the keep talking till they're walking, I noticed my number of subscribers went up quite considerably, and it reminded me of when Making a Murderer #2 came out, and the dude's channel shot up in numbers. I think he went from somewhere near 3,000 to 6,000 subscribers in just a few weeks. Yeah.
Wow, that's great.
Can you remember when Making a Murderer Series 2 came out?
yeah.
What was the day?
It was October 19th, wasn't it?
And what's special about October 19th?
Brendan's birthday.
Correct. No. Come on. You've got 365 days in a year. Why did Netflix choose Brendan's birthday to release?
I don't know. Your guess was as good as mine.
Well, my guess is they knew exactly what they were doing, and they did that deliberately.
Yeah.
I think so too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so too.
I think I think that no matter, and I've seen a lot of stuff recently on various places about is Steve this wonderful person that everybody's eulogizing about? No, I don't think so. I mean that's one of the things that we hear from Pete. Pete, you knew Steve as he was. Obviously. You must have known him very well because he was at one time your brother-in-law. Has Pete just frozen? I've just caused him to freeze because I'm asking about Steve.
Oh, that wasn't me. That was you guys.
Yeah. So what? Come on, give us the bottom line about Steve. How good is he? How bad is he? From your experience.
Well, he's got his good points and he's got his bad points. Yeah, there's a
Okay.
couple times where he hung out and I got him pissed off and he told me off and but I know darn well he didn't have nothing to do with it. I mean, he says things, but by saying it and doing it, that's two different things.
Yes. I do appreciate that when he was in prison, and I can only imagine how horrendous it was for your wife Laurie to be looking after 5 kids.
Yeah.
And they're going through a bit of a messy divorce, and they say things, and as you say, I mean, what can Steve do? He has nothing. He's locked up. The only thing he can use is to quote somebody else, words and words alone. That's all he can do to try and influence the situation. And bless him, I don't think it's really it's really effective threatening people. It just doesn't work, does it? You know, and as you say, you know, he might threaten, but you know, it's going through with it. Nah. I mean, we've discussed already this cat incident, and we're not even sure that it was even Steve that actually did that, other than the fact that he was in the company of people that chose to do what they did to the cat. I mean, I'm a dog person, everybody knows that, but even I wouldn't do that to a cat, I must admit. I know.
There's my cat.
Oh, there he well, the dog's down.
We were cat people. We were cat people years ago. We still are, but we just went over to cats to dogs. I don't know if it was maybe because of the hair, or I don't know. Dogs got hair too, but I don't know, different personalities, I guess. But we love all animals, you know.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Even the you know, I mean, obviously in Wisconsin, I think worldwide there's like 7 different breeds of moose, and they reckon that in Wisconsin, in the wild, there's 30 to 40 moose. But of course, they've forgotten the most important one, the one that's actually, you know, house trained and lives in 2 rivers. It's a great picture, isn't it? Yeah.
I love the picture you put up on the thing here. That was awesome.
Yeah, what was that? What's the name of that character?
Rocky Bullwinkle?
Yes.
Bullwinkle, yeah.
Yeah, I used to watch that when I was a kid.
Right, okay. Yeah. It's. I think that's what your picture is based on, don't you think?
Yeah, it's not colored though, but that's hand drawn, so you can't get any better than that. Yep.
Oh, we've got somebody else joining us, so we'll add Jane in a minute.
Jane!
I always get excited when there's new
Hi.
Jane!
Hello.
How is everyone?
Pretty good.
Well, no, I'm absolutely shattered. I've been getting up at 5 o'clock every morning, stupid o'clock, the same sort of time that Pete gets up. But you know, Pete's used to it. I'm not.
Yeah.
Is that with the dog, Paul?
Sorry?
Is that with the dog?
Well, yeah, he wakes up at 5 o'clock. He's, you know, that's him programmed. He wakes up at 5 o'clock, and so I mean, you know, I don't get any rest if I don't get up and feed him and take him on a walk. You know, I'm just gonna suffer. It's not like he's gonna go away and just lie down and say, you know, that's fine, okay, I'll give you another hour. You know, there is no negotiation with him. You know, it is my way, and that is the only way. And you're going to get up, you're going to feed me, and then take me on a sometimes we do like a 3-hour walk. You know, I mean, yesterday we went for, in total, because I've got this app on my phone, a Pacer app. We did 36,000 steps, which was 27.8 kilometers, just under 20 miles.
Wow.
Yeah.
I thought I'd do a lot when I got 15 or 16 on.
Yeah.
I do enjoy the pictures you take on your walks, Paul.
Yeah, dude.
Well,
he's been loading us with awesome scenery.
Wait till I get the chance to do it, and I must ask the owner's permission first, obviously, but hopefully I'll get some footage of Jock and Daisy together, because Daisy is a lady border collie, slightly shorter hair, but this border collie Daisy, I think she's 4 years old. And what's really weird is that the owner was saying when we first met, he said, that's really strange because she's playing, you know, they're playing together. And he said, she doesn't play with other dogs, but with Jock, she does. And then 2 nights ago, met them, and the owner's, his wife was also with them. And she was amazed because she had never ever seen Daisy play with another dog, and yet this Daisy and Jock running around like mad things, playing away. You know, it's incredible. So yes, awesome. Jock's definitely got a girlfriend, but please don't tell Daisy, because Dassey is another girlfriend, a little chip Chihuahua, and she's staying tonight. So don't, you know, we won't go telling Daisy that, will we? You know, keep that.
That's funny.
So anyway, I was just saying to everybody, what a crazy couple of weeks it's been since well, since Keep Talking to Theyre Walking, we've had all these restraining orders that have been sent back and forward, and as the latest I've heard is they've both been sort of thrown out because, really, I mean, to me, it just seems a bit bizarre that people are doing this, and it really doesn't do the cause any good. But anyway,
shake hands and bury the hatchet.
Yeah.
Life is too short.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, I mean, obviously for you, Peter, you're sort of slap bang in the middle. You're married to Laurie, who was Steve's first wife. Well, the only wife he's ever had, and your ex-wife is Barb, and yet, it's like it's a small world. Just try and get on with it. Just get on with everybody,
Yeah.
Well, I do. And my only thing also is that it does take two people to make any relationship work, right?
Yeah.
So, the people who are doing restraining orders, but also on the other end, the other people need to, it takes two people in these situations. So,
and it kind of needs to stay off social media.
That's the other thing.
Yeah.
There are certain people that like to post everything on social media that.
What should have been private should have stayed private. Not everybody. Yeah, it's a lot of that stuff is private stuff. When I found out, when I heard a bunch of stuff, I was mad. I said that doesn't belong on the air or Twitter or no place. That's
especially in your situation, Pete. I feel for you because a lot of stuff that's being said directly is stuff that is being said about you.
Yeah.
That
it's not
involving you and other people that have that, and some of the people can't even voice what you know what I mean, if they're not even on social media. So
yeah.
But I get the impression that sometimes people they're sort of backed into a corner whereby the only thing they can do is try and threaten. And so they'll threaten with, I'll put this all over social. I'll do this. I'll do that. I'll take a restraining order. And I'll tell you what's quite good is the fact that they might think twice the next time because it's really quite ineffective. They don't get the drama they're hoping for, and everybody goes, well, what was that in aid of? Where did that get you? It doesn't get you anywhere, does it? So hopefully people will learn.
I do agree with that. Yeah, I do hope that all parties basically just kind of stay in their own little.
Yeah.
And like everybody just sort of
either bury the hatchet or just leave it.
I mean, look, one of the things that I've said for a long time is the fact that this case, it's so troublesome. It is so upsetting. I mean, I can only begin. I can't begin to imagine what it's like for Pete. I think you're an absolute rock. To go through all this. But people from the outside are looking at this and going, this is horrendous. What's happened to Steve and Brendan, and the subsequent fallout, or if there is fallout, but certain bits of animosity between people, And I sometimes think that it's because we feel so badly for Steve and Brendan that you end up lashing out at the people that you shouldn't lash out at. The focus of attention should be on the bad actors, but no, if somebody gets a notion that somebody said something out of line or did something wrong, that's going to be their focus of attack, and sometimes they get very annoyed at people when really they shouldn't do it, and it's maybe just this inner feeling of as Catherine Zellner described it once, as a controlled rage, and maybe this controlled rage should just be controlled a bit more.
Yeah.
So that you're not lashing out at the people that you should be taking care of. I mean, certainly we've got this. A bit of animosity, it would seem, between Brad, who I mean, when he came on and chatted, because Pete, you were unavailable that day, he came on and chatted and was very, very pleasant, told us all about the songs he's doing.
Yeah.
And bless her, Barb is getting it from a load of people who are saying, that, somehow she sold Brendan out to Wiegert and Fassbender.
It's ridiculous. Yeah.
And you've got Brad saying, well, people criticise him for the fact that he's just trying to make a name for himself, or he's making all this money from this, these record deals that he's doing, and it's just like, no, neither of that is true on either side, is it? It just gets very messy, and probably best not to dwell on. It's just a sad state of affairs, and at the centre of all of this, you wonder, what does this, in terms of affect things? How does this affect Brendan? Any news on how Brendan is?
Oh yeah, I talked to him Wednesday, and hey, I got some good news. They're thinking next month or beyond that they're going to open up the visits.
Oh, right.
Oh,
Yeah, awesome. I told him, me and my
That's
wife
excellent.
were on the phone. Me and my wife were on the phone. He says, "Yeah, we can't wait to get over by to bash you on cards." And he started laughing because he's the card shark. We're not.
Is he the card shark, or is it Carla?
Oh, yeah, card shark. Yeah.
What about Carla, though? I heard she's a bit notorious.
Yeah, she's up there. Yeah, she's up there too. Yeah.
Yeah. I heard she's. Well, I used to always ask her how the scores went, and she always won. So I just assumed that she must have been cheating.
Yeah, I don't know. She goes on different days, so I never run into her or what. I got my days, and
hey, Pete, be thankful for small blessings. Thank God you didn't meet Enter, otherwise she'd be taking your shares as well.
Yeah.
Becca, have you had a chance to chat with Brendan at all?
What was it, last weekend? I think I got a phone call from him.
Somewhere. Yeah, he said.
Yeah, he called me. He sounded like he was doing absolutely great. Like, very happy, very positive. I did get an email from him shortly after. He sounds like he's still doing good.
Yeah, but I was going to say he's kind of sort of. There's not a lot he can do about what's going on in the outside world, is there? So he's really just got to try and stay as positive as possible.
And that's the kind of the thing about it, is that there isn't a lot he can do for anybody going through that kind of stuff, and it sucks.
Yeah,
it does. Yeah,
but I know he always believes that the best possible outcome of these sorts of things will happen. So
yeah.
I think what his most hope is that while all this stuff is happening, and I know people have their personal feelings about this particular thing, but I think his biggest hope is that Brad will calm down and stop being so aggressive online towards Barb.
Yeah.
And
I mean, it's from a neutral bystander, I can see both sides of it, and
I also would like to say, just to put this out there, that Brendan generally doesn't have a problem with people who don't like his mother. He has a problem with people who go after her and bash her online and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that's where the problem actually really, because there are plenty of people, believe it or not, that are on Brendan's visiting list even, who do not get along with Barb at all. And they still visit with Brendan, because that's not the problem.
Yeah.
They learned
the problem.
The problem deal with the situation. Yeah.
The problem isn't that Brendan. The problem isn't that these people don't like Barb. It's how they've been acting towards this whole thing. He doesn't. He doesn't want people bashing his mother online.
And who
Yeah.
would?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's wrong.
I mean,
It's wrong anyways. It should be between those two, not Brad and the
Yeah.
whole world. It's like,
Yeah.
That's where it is. It's, like I said, there are a few people who go and visit him, who communicate with him, who don't talk to Barb, who don't like Barb, but they still that's not. I mean, that's
They
just how
still
it is.
maintain a relationship, and it doesn't affect.
Yeah.
yeah,
It's just
you
they
gotta
don't.
learn to get along with the person even if you don't like them.
Yeah.
There's a handful of people at work I don't care for, but I'm really nice and I say good morning and just deal with it and move on.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's my take on it, and that's what I know from my own situation with dealing with this kind of stuff. It's that it's not necessarily that they don't like Barb. It's that it's what Brad's been doing online.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look, the big issue, I suppose, for a lot of people was that that they would suggest that because of that famous three-way phone call, that it came across, and I'm sure Barb didn't mean to do it, but it came across as she cared more for one son rather than the other that was locked up, and to me, I hate to say this, but for me, at times, I don't know that Barb's fully equipped to deal with all that's going on.
I think that this is like such a big and stressful situation, and like there's no rule book on how you should or shouldn't do.
Exactly.
And a lot of times, Barb's doing the best she can with what she have, and some days she doesn't really have a lot to work with. And I know that she loves all four of her sons, and I know she desperately wants Brendan home, but I also know she's been screwed over by the state of Wisconsin. Her family has been multiple times. She's seen it with Stephen, now she's seen it with Stephen and Brendan again. And I think the fear is that it's like it could happen to any other one of her family members again.
So yeah, absolutely, Becca. Pete, you were going to add something then about
Oh yeah, I get drilled too. You only care about Brendan? Well, Brendan is the one that's locked up. I love all my kids the same, but right now my focus is on Brendan because he's behind the bars. Yeah. But if I seen them all in person, I'd give them a hug and love. I love them all the same. But right now Brendan's on the top because he's behind the bars. If it makes any sense,
yeah. Well, yeah.
I mean that's natural, isn't it? I mean, it's like when I moved to Scotland, my mum and dad at first were anxious that I didn't phone them, for 2 weeks at a time, and then eventually they got to the stage where as long as we don't hear from him, we know he's fine. The only time we'll hear from him is when he's in trouble, So it kind of changed to that, So yeah, I get it. You don't really need to keep checking up on all the other sons. If they're in trouble, they will be on the phone to the Moose hotline to say, "Dad, can you help us?" and if you don't hear from them, then all well and good. Everything's doing fine. But
and the other day when Barb was over here and I told her how I felt about Bobby, I know he has nothing to do with it, and I feel the same. And she knows I care for all the kids the same way.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and unfortunately, with I dare I say it, with Bobby, that the problem is that clear that what he knew and what he said, right after the event, changed dramatically when he got to the courthouse, and he became this star witness. So of course, Zell's got to go after this because it's not truth, and as we hear Dolores say, it's not nice to listen to. You can see the fact that it's the sort of thing that can cause problems within a family, particularly when it comes to court. Because and here's the thing that really, really annoys me is that people can go into court and clearly not tell the truth, but But what about the police officers that go in and not tell the truth? I mean, what is the point of having this court if everybody's going to go in and lying? And it's like chicken and egg. What started first? Well, it's the police that lied first. They lied through the whole of the investigation.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, going way back. Sorry, Becca. Yeah.
In my understanding is the police were the ones who were trying to get the witnesses and stuff to lie.
Yeah.
And manipulate their stories too. So.
Right away, you look at the non people that aren't behind the law. You should look at the law too. The law can be crooked just as much. It's wow. Yeah, I don't believe it. I don't.
I'm going to start with Jane because Jane, you've not had a chance to really say very much so far.
Hi, Jane. Welcome, Jane.
Because Becca's been hogging all the chat. It's not me. It's all Pete. but no. What I was going to say was that we had I did a video where I did the dude video about his 5 most sort of things that were done wrong in the investigation, and I've just wondered, I mean, obviously the dude came up with his 5. What would be your sort of all the things that you saw in Making a Murderer leading up to the arrest of the going to trial of Steve and Brendan? What would be your worst bit about the whole conduct of the investigation?
A press conference.
Yep. But that was a press conference. I'm on about like the actual specifics of the investigation.
So you mean like things like pictures not being taken?
Exactly.
Of the film and So,
interrogating minors.
Interrogating. Coercing Brendan into making a false confession. I just had another one then.
Well, 80 more things to go for, aren't there?
Yes, I know.
The dude managed 5. Stacey can do what's it, 18 times that?
Oh, I know. Manitowoc law enforcement on the case shouldn't have been there. They shouldn't have been allowed. I know they were.
Yeah, it's such an obvious one, isn't it? I mean, he goes with Andy Colburn and the phone call to dispatch about the Sam William Henry 582, and it's just so obvious, and he's trying to say, oh no, I must have got the details from somebody, and it's like even Wiegert doesn't back him up on the witness stand, does he?
No.
Okay. What about? Sorry.
Well,
More. Go on, James. Some more. Yeah. Oh, okay. Becca. What? What? Any thought on the investigation?
As far as what could have been done differently.
Well, just the really big errors that were made. I mean, we can call them errors, we can call them flaws. Some people would say that they're not errors, they're not flaws. They were done deliberately to wrongfully convict Stephen Brendan. That there was an agenda, but what sort of stands out in your mind?
Paul Ward in the comments made a really big one for me is O'Kelly.
Oh yeah. Definitely.
Yeah.
O'Kelly was definitely sent in to convict Brendan.
Yeah.
I mean, it's. Yeah. Sorry, Jane.
The polygraph, the way they turned around and told him he'd failed and he hadn't.
Yeah.
I mean,
that was the thing I was going to say. It's if you can imagine if you've got couple of minutes with somebody to explain to them a little bit about Making a Murderer, and you needed to explain something really about the investigation and what was so deeply flawed. Yeah, O'Kelly definitely would be high up on that list, because there's no way that Kaczynski should have hired O'Kelly to try and coerce him again.
No,
In a lot of ways, Kaczynski is also another big flaw in the case.
absolutely.
So,
Yeah.
Pete,
Yeah.
what about yours? What would be your thing that you took away from the investigation that you think that's just wrong, that's wonky?
Well, when the first time I met with Fassbender and Wiegert right away, they said right away, tried to get him to say guilty so he can, and I says, why? He isn't in the first place. They even tried to keep pumping that in my head. And I says, I'm telling the truth. It's like, those guys it didn't seem like they wanted to leave me alone. That's the right thing to do. Then he can get out sooner and all this other stuff. It didn't make any sense.
Yeah. So they knew what they were doing. They knew what they were doing.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then towards the end, he's got this little window. Hurry up, tell him to confess. Hurry up. And, it's like, get out of here already,
Yeah. Something that struck me the other day, and the fact is that, if, let's say, right, that Stephen Brendan did it. Okay, let's hypothetically say that Stephen and Brendan did it. They lured Teresa into the caravan. They did everything that they did. They went to such lengths to hide any kind of DNA evidence. Yeah. But then they know perfectly well, okay, because they're the ones that have killed her. They know perfectly well that the last people to see her alive are them. So what do? They try and cover up by removing all this DNA from the caravan, from the garage, and yet they're daft enough to leave burnt remains in the bonfire. They make no effort whatsoever to try and hide the fact that that she was the last person. They were the last person to see her. It just doesn't make sense, does it? You don't go to trouble of cleaning your caravan. Well, sorry, you call it a trailer. That residence to that extent, whereby you remove all forensic evidence, to then accidentally leave some of your blood inside of the RAV4.
I'd like to know how Stephen Brendan got rid of all that blood in the carpet and everything. If Brendan was supposed to take that big knife to slice her throat, Christ, she should have been bleeding profusely.
I mean, the thing is, if Brendan would only tell us how to clean a carpet to that extent, we'd make a fortune. You'd make a fortune.
And how did he hide that real big knife that was used?
Well, that's the other one, isn't it? He had those detectives running here and then everywhere. They took every single knife out of Stephen's kitchen, and not one of them was a knife.
Yeah.
And especially when Brendan can't stand the sight of blood.
Well, yes, I know it's that is pretty ridiculous, isn't it?
And why did it take 7 times to find the key? Did they have a hole in the floor and it didn't pop up through the hole or something?
Well, as John Farrack points out in his book, The Wrecking Crew, it takes a certain type of police investigator to find certain evidence. He describes Lincoln Colburn as the crackerjack Manitowoc detectives. They are one level above everybody else. When it comes to finding stuff. I mean, bless him. I don't think Dan Kucharski is quite the sharpest tool in the shed, but he's he goes along with this whole ridiculous thing about the key, doesn't he? But of course, for all the previous searches, the 6 previous searches that they did, it was Bill Tyson of Calumet that was with them, and he actually took his job seriously. His job is to make sure nothing strange is going on. Then they get paired with Daniel Kucharski, who's just happy just to be there and have a look around, saying hi to the aliens, and whoa, there's a key. Oh, I must have missed it the first time round,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
And to
was
me,
the
you can correct me if I'm wrong. A person usually has more than one key with them, anyways. I mean, because you got to have one for the house, and you know, so that's strange too. Why only one key? Why wasn't there like four or five? Her house key should have been on there, and maybe a couple other ones, to cabinets or whatever. But you just don't have one key. I mean,
No.
yeah. How many keys do you got on your thing, Jane?
I have my car key, my front
Yeah,
door key, my back
yeah,
door key. So yeah,
yeah. Okay. See what I'm getting at?
yeah,
Yeah,
Mm,
definitely.
yeah.
yeah.
I mean, I've got two car keys. I've got the front
Okay,
door key. I've got the
okay,
key to the building in town. Two keys. I've got
okay,
the key to the dungeon. I've got the key
okay.
to I did no dungeon. Sorry, no dungeon.
The dungeon. You sound like the Bret Hart and their family. They trained in dungeon for WWE.
Yeah,
They used to have a dungeon basement for training. So
yeah. It sounds scary, doesn't it? It just
yeah, it
sounds so
does. Yeah.
scary having a
Is there
dungeon.
ghouls
You
and
know.
is there ghouls and goblins down
Well, I did that poem, didn't I? The week about the Kirk plus Ghoulie.
Getting on that song. Hey, thanks for sending that. What is that Moose song for me? I saw
Oh
that.
yeah,
I
Oh,
thought that was really funny. I said Paul's got to be the one that did that. Yeah, yeah. I thought I'm going. What the heck is this? And it said something about moose on it or whatever.
yeah.
oh yeah.
Yeah, I know. Oh my
And then
god.
it's there's a moose loose about this hoose. That's that is
Oh yeah.
called that tune is called Hootsman because
Yeah.
they go
Who's that from?
Hootsman.
Who's that from?
It's from 1958 or 1959, and it's by Lord Rockingham's 15 or
Well,
Lord Rockingham's 11.
just think if it was 58 or 59. I was born in 58, so
Yeah, yeah,
they must have
that's
known
that's
I
it.
got half. They must have known
That's
I
what they're
got
on
half.
about. There's
Yeah,
there's a
yeah,
moose loose about the hoose.
yeah.
Oh dear.
Yeah. All right.
Anyway,
Okay.
so looking forward, and I know we keep asking this. Um, I mean, what keeps Brendan going? Pete Becker. What keeps
Oh,
him going?
his positive attitude. I mean, if you met him in person, I mean, you can just feel the rays come right off of him. And yeah, you guys don't know what it's like to see my boy in person. I mean, I know Becca, she'd probably be in tears if I mean, I know how Becca is. I mean, I've seen people meet him in Portage, and he gets checked out, like 15 feet away from you, and you can see him being checked out. And whoever saw him then, they were just crying, and you didn't even step out of
Yeah.
the door yet. So yeah, he's just awesome. You can see he's just full of rays. I mean, they're all they're
Yeah,
all positive. They're all
I just,
positive.
I just want to give him a big hug.
I
Yeah,
know, I was just
yeah,
saying, I was just
yeah,
thinking that I would give him the biggest hug and probably
Yeah.
never let go. So,
yeah. I know. Yeah, yeah,
When I first watched Making a Murderer, and I was watching the confession when he was in the police station, and they were interrogating him, and I was sat there like in tears because it was heartbreaking, and I just wanted to grab him out of my telly. I just wanted to
yeah.
reach out into the telly and just away from them horrible cops. But yeah, I
yeah.
wanted to just give him the biggest hug.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, if I met him, I would seriously ask him. Why play cards against Carla Chase? She is a card shark. But apart from that, the next thing I would ask, is you passed your high school diploma. Don't let that be your Everest. Keep going. Keep studying.
Yeah,
Can Pete and Becca, can you assure me that he does do a bit of? I believe he does a lot of reading.
Oh yeah, yeah. He's got
Yeah.
books up to wazoo.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Yeah,
I know I send him 2 or 3 books a week
yeah,
sometimes.
yeah. And thank you for that, because then that keeps his mind going, and his focus on other things going. Plus, if he's into that stuff,
Yeah. But yeah, he reads through a lot and I feel poor Barb. She's got boxes and boxes and boxes and of like big boxes of books that he reads through. He's a big reader.
Yeah, he's going to have a special room, Brendan.
Yeah,
Memorial.
he can have a library.
Yeah, Brendan's Memorial Library at home.
Yeah.
And is there any kind of teaching plan? Like, is there any opportunity to do any kind of? I suppose the lockdown makes that difficult.
Last I heard, right now, currently, they don't have classes going on because of COVID.
Yeah, that's understandable.
But I don't know if there's like an online college, but I don't know if he has like any college plans per se.
Okay, I know. Just even me, I was not very. I wasn't particularly effective at school. I knew I was going to be involved in music, and it was only like really once I left school that I suddenly found out that I did want to learn more. And for some people, school just comes too early, doesn't it? It's
yeah. Well, and my personal opinion is that I think Brendan is actually a really smart guy. He really is.
Oh, yeah.
He's super sharp and he learns. He has he's just a different learner. I think that's basically what it is. But he's also in a lot of ways, I think personally like me, where if it doesn't interest him, then he's not going to want to do. You know what I mean? So like
push it away, maybe.
Sure.
Yeah, so like I think if he found a subject in college or school that was really interesting for him, I think he would do great at it.
Oh yeah.
I don't think there's anything right now though that he's interested in college wise, but and I think that's gonna, like, if they had a gaming or computer thing in the prison, he would be all over that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but like right now they only like really do things like business degrees or stuff like that, and I don't think he's really.
He did mention to me last Wednesday he started a job there cleaning the bathrooms and stuff. So
again,
I said that's really great. I said you get out of your room and you do your job and get to move around a little bit.
He does like to keep busy, so that's why the reading and then the jobs, and then he does try to help out the unit a lot. I know that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring up a name of somebody that everybody else in the chat is going to go. You didn't need to mention him, but I remember having chats with Chad Keller. And he was wrongly convicted for, I'm going to say, I think he did nearly 4 years. And I asked him, what kept you going? And he said, reading books. He said, it took me outside of where I was. It took my mind to somewhere else. It's just so important to have that other universe that, physically you might be in this jail cell, but mentally you can take yourself to all these different worlds thanks to the book, and I suppose escaping reality is what it's all about, and having a job. It doesn't matter what kind of job it is, but having a job that keeps you busy. We hear about Steve. He used to do a lot of was it car maintenance and car spraying,
Yeah.
Doesn't he have a job too currently, I think? Is
he not in the kitchens or something at the moment?
I think something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll also add to that the supporters, that also helped keep Brendan and I'm sure Stephen going. Like the letters and the support and all of that stuff just really keeps their spirits up and keeps them going.
That you raise an interesting thing there, right, Becca? Do you get the sense with Brendan that sometimes he's being in prison and being a celebrity prisoner can be embarrassing for him, or it might make him feel, I'm in here. I know I don't deserve to be, but I'm getting all this attention from people outside, and feeling sorry for some of the other people that are there. I mean,
I do know that he has like a group of friends that he's met in prison that he gives the names to another supporter, Ben.
Right.
Oh yeah, I see that too. Yeah.
Yeah, where he does have a heart for those people that don't have anybody to get letters to. So he gives people that he knows well names to Fen, and then she'll post the list. So if you want to write a letter or send a card to one of them.
Yeah, you mentioned that to me too. Yeah, I said that's really good, because then the people that aren't that noticed that much, you're helping them by, other friends talking to other friends to make friends and then that helps them guys get along a little more too.
Yeah,
I think that's awesome. Yeah.
But I don't know about the celebrity. I don't really look at him as a celebrity, so I don't really think about that.
No.
I don't know if anybody else really does. I don't know.
As one of my boys.
Yeah.
I just look at him as he was railroaded for something that he didn't do, but it's hard to explain how he is. You have to meet him in person, and Becca and Paul if you ever meet him in person, and Jan, if you ever meet him in person, he's just gonna totally blow you away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just ask people that were up there, I mean,
dude, Moose, he just takes after his dad.
Yeah. Well, he does follow me, or whatever.
Great stuff.
Or you're trying to make me blush a little bit.
I'll have
to hurry up and hide under a rock here.
Yeah, on you go. We'll find you. Well, everybody, thanks so much. I'm gonna take this dog for an unconstitutional, because he is not hiding under a rock, and he's been fed, and I'm beginning to smell the effects of him not having been taken out for his walk yet. If I can put it mildly.
That is an awesome dog. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty cool.
Do you know what the funny thing is as well, is the fact that we had to change the car. Some of you will know that my wife had a black Audi convertible.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of difficult trying to put a big border collie in the boot of a convertible, because half the boot's taken up with the space needed for the roof to come down. So no, we never tried that. So I managed to get the car changed. So I've changed the car, but the guy at the garage reckons that I deliberately got the dog so I could change the car rather than the other way around.
Oh no!
No, it's been a very busy week, I must admit, getting everything sorted out. But
good. And I really thank you for all the videos and the pictures you show us. I think you got a big, beautiful country there, eh?
Yeah, I mean, where we are in Galashiels, it's the largest town. It's the largest town in the borders, but I mean, it's minute. It's like population of about 17,000, and where we are on the outskirts of Galashiels, I can go, out into basically as soon as I sort of go out the front door and just down towards Netherdale, which is where all the rugby pitches are. From then, it's just the wild outdoors, and it's very similar to Wisconsin, really. But I would say that my recollection of Wisconsin, it was less hilly. That there was a lot of sort of flatness about it, whereas where we are, we've got a lot of hills. We've also got a lot of rivers, and if you ever look,
is there a lot of water by you?
Yeah. Well, the Scottish borders is famous for the River Tweed, and the fact that people pay a fortune to come and fish for salmon.
Oh, okay.
That was always the thing.
So your fishing is excellent there too, then?
No, I have never gone fishing. Well, I did once go sea fishing, but I had a few Stella Artois the night before, and the sea was very choppy, so I couldn't concentrate on actually even attaching anything to a hook. So
Okay.
I was busy saying hello to Huey over the side of the boat.
Okay.
If you know what I mean.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know what you mean.
You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was not pleasant. It was 2.5 hours of my life I'll never get back. And just as the boat was coming in, I was starting to get to feel like, okay, I'm getting this, you know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but no, to begin with, it was rough.
A few years ago, I had a ride on the car ferry from. Well, they do when it comes it's from Ludington, Michigan. It comes to Manitowoc.
Wow,
So
the SS Badger.
yeah, when they start out, they have they got a thing for like a 2-hour cruise up and down the thing, and wow, that's like 40 feet up in the air or so, and you're on there, and it doesn't rock much, but it's really cool being so high up, you know.
Yeah.
If you have a chance to go on there, take it. Wow, it's cool.
Well, I must admit, you asked me about the rally this year.
Yeah.
You know, very unlikely that I'm going to manage to make it, partly because of the restrictions.
I was kind of hoping you'd be.
Yeah, but listen. Next year it won't be a rally in support of getting Stephen and Brendan out of prison. It'll be a rally in support to celebrate them being released, won't it?
I know. Yeah.
We always hope that. Yeah.
That would be awesome. One big get together. Everybody.
Yeah.
All right, that'd be awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody can get a chance to see what they're both like in real life. You know?
Yeah. I mean, I mean, it's going to be strange, isn't it? Because you've got Brendan at what, 6'3", 6'4".
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, Steve is basically no bigger than a garden gnome.
Yeah. It's kind of like Laurel and Hardy a little bit.
Yeah. It will be, won't it? Yeah. Great stuff. Okie dokie. Listen, I'm going to say cheerio.
Okay. All right.
Becca, Jane, thank you very much for taking the time to come and have a chat. Pete, as usual, listen, we're just going to keep talking till they're walking.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely.
Because that's what it's all about, you know. And whether we break the case next week or not, that doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
It's the fact that we keep talking about it. I know at the moment things seem to be developing, I would say, very nicely. Okay, there's one or two little issues at the side which really shouldn't be, being. It shouldn't be a case of them being blown out of all proportion because they're really not that important. But anyway, we'll crack on. So tomorrow, just let everybody know tomorrow, if I can, hoping to have a chat with Fleetside and a few other people about his analysis of analysis. So that should be good fun.
Okay.
But obviously, we'll catch you all, Pete, next Saturday as usual.
Thank you for
because
being here.
this is.
Thank you, Jane and Becca, for joining us. The more, the merrier.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Pete, if you could wind things up, and I'll say cheerio, and then shut up and leave it to you.
Okay, goodbye, everybody on the chat. Whoever was out there, I see names go flying by. Okay, thank you, Becca, and thank you, Jane, and to the fabulous Paul Capaldi. Thanks for arranging this again, and we'll see you guys next week again.
Yep.
Same bat time, same bat channel.
Bye.
Okay. All right. Yeah.